I'm going to do a live demo. Is going to be my client. So I'm going to give a little bit of an introduction about what SMART objectives are, as if I was speaking to a client. And I'm going to take objectives down and format this in the way that I would expect it to be formatted in real life. Objectives are what you actually want to achieve from this process. What's the overarching thing that you want to do? Now, when we discussed your dreams, you mentioned about retirement. That's a big, big thing. That's the reason that you got in touch. So I want to find out more about this. The model that we're going to use to gather your objectives is called the SMART model. Now that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And if an objective doesn't meet those criteria, then it's not really an objective. This is the blueprint. This is the what I'm going to base my recommendation on you achieving. We're going to start with S. S is the qualitative part of the objective. So I want to understand a little bit more about what your day-to-day retirement looks like. What are you doing in a typical day once you're retired? How many holidays do you want? What do you want those holidays to look like? What are you going to be doing during the daytime and in the evening on a typical day? So the floor is yours. I'm going to, shut up and just take your dictation. So go.
So what I want to do in retirement, I know exactly what I want to do. I want a shack on the beach. I say shack, as long as it's got a pool and all that kind of stuff. Close enough to where I can walk in my flip-flops to a pub and a bar on the beach. And all I want to do is spend my time in the sun and travel the world.
That sounds like the best retirement I've ever heard, quite frankly. What a
just something
wonderful retirement.
simple. Not much.
Do you see you doing that throughout your entire retirement or just really in the early years?
It's really going to be, I say, where I want to live, unless by then I've got grandchildren, which I probably will have. That's scary. Yeah, most of my early retirement. And when I say early retirement, I want to do that from about 55 onwards.
Do you foresee a time when you'll be returning to the UK to live kind of a quieter life?
If the family grows and there's grandchildren at that stage in life, then yes, I will return. There'll always be a base. I won't sell at my main house. It'll always be here.
Okay, wonderful. So, big question. Now move on to try and measure this and try and quantify this. How much have you looked into this and how much is this going to cost on an annual basis?
I've actually looked into quite a bit. So in terms of by then, main thing, the mortgage will be paid off. So that the UK house will be done. So that's all done. I'll need an amount to buy a nice place. I reckon you're looking at somewhere between the region of 400 to 500k to buy a nice place.
Where's that? Not in the UK then?
It's not going to be the UK. That's going to be abroad. I have no idea where. That'll be something commutable in that it'll be between 4 to 5 hours flight back to the UK.
Okay, that all makes sense. What about your income?
I think once I retire, I think I've been looking at in terms of what I want to leave on, and I think 10k a month is what I need.
Okay, is it important that increases with inflation?
It will need to, because my plans are to retire earlier.
Okay, fabulous. And you've already mentioned you'd like to retire at 55.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of assessing achievability, what I'm going to do is because it's quite a complex objective, we've got the capital part of it, which is the securing the house, and we've also got the income part of it, which is a separate thing in and of itself. So what I'm going to need to do to assess whether or not this is realistically achievable for you is I'm going to use a system called cash flow modeling. This essentially just gives us a projection of what your assets are likely to be at age 55. And that's going to enable us to determine, is this a pipe dream? Might you need to retire later? Might you need to save more? And then once I've done that evaluation, I'll call you if there's any problems, and we can go through it there. And of course, in terms of whether or not this is a relevant objective, absolutely, this is a need rather than a want, because we're dealing with your essential retirement income. So I'm happy with that. So the only thing that I'm not 100% sure of is achievability. What I'll do is I'll crunch the numbers, I'll do the cash flow modeling, and we can even go through that with you. We can book an hour's appointment just to go through it on Microsoft Teams and make sure that you understand everything. And that gives us the basis for a recommendation for me to tell you, okay, so we know it's achievable. How are we going to do it?